Hi, welcome back. In the last class, we have studied about the structure and function of cell and its organelles. Apart from this, we also have studied the transport mechanisms across the plasma membrane, the cell signaling and cell junctions. In today's class, we will study about different types of tissues in the body. Tissues are groups of cells, and these cells in a group are similar in nature. Such cells which are grouped together to form a tissue, and there are different types of tissues which can be categorized based upon their size, shape and function, and each tissue has its own specific function in the body. There are 4 different types of tissues in the body. They are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue and nervous tissue. All the organs in the body have one or more types of these tissues. Now let's see about these tissues in detail. We will start with epithelial tissues. Epithelial tissues, as the name itself suggests, epi means on the top of. Epithelial tissues covers the body and they line the cavities or hollow organs or tubes. Apart from this, they are also found in glands. The main function of epithelial tissues is protecting the surface from mechanical or chemical damage or preventing from dehydration or secretion or absorption. So these are the functions of epithelial tissue. So protecting the underlying structures, secretion and absorption. Now let's see what are the various types of epithelial tissue. The types of epithelial tissue can be categorized into 2 types. They are simple epithelium and stratified epithelium. And once again, as the name suggests, simple epithelium consists of single layer of cells, and stratified epithelium consists of several layers of cells. Now, once again, there are different types of simple epithelium and different types of stratified epithelium.
Epithelial tissue, there are mainly 2 things you need to keep in mind. First, the cells in this tissue are tightly packed. They are stuck very close to each other. So close that they look like a continuous sheet of cells. And second, the tissue lacks blood vessels. So all the nutrition needed for these cells is supplied by a layer on which these epithelial cells lie. Now, since this layer is present at the base of all these cells, it's rightly called a basement membrane. The types of this tissue are based on 2 factors: number of the cells in the tissue and shape of the cells in the tissue. So first, let's deal with the number of cells. In this tissue, if there's only one layer of cells, we call it a simple epithelial tissue. And if there are multiple layers of cells, like you can see here, you may expect it to be called opposite of simple, that is complex. But no, it's called stratified epithelial tissue. Here the word stratify means to be placed or formed in layers. So is it easy? A single layer means simple epithelial tissue, whereas many layers of cells is a stratified epithelial tissue. Now coming to the second type of classification, that is based on shape of cells. The cells of this tissue have 3 variants. First, the cells are flat and square-like, just like these floor tiles here. So if they are square-like, we call it squamous epithelium. Second, the cells can be cube-like, like an ice cube or something. So because of this shape, it gets its name as cuboidal epithelium. And third, it can be rectangular, column-like in shape, and hence are called columnar epithelium. So we've seen two types of classification based on number of cells and shape of cells.
So let's see them in detail. Simple epithelium can once again be of three different types. And these epithelial tissues can be abundantly found in the surfaces of secretion and absorption. And these are very rarely seen, or we can say they are absent in those regions where they undergo stress. And these three types of simple epithelium are named based upon the shape of the cells. Those cells which are more active are taller. Now let's see them in detail. The first type of simple epithelium is squamous epithelial tissue. The second is cuboidal epithelial tissue, and the third is columnar epithelial tissue. Squamous epithelial tissue consists of single layer of cells on an basement membrane, and this basement membrane is an inert connective tissue which is produced by the epithelial cells itself. And the presence of single layer of cells on a basement membrane is a characteristic nature of epithelial tissues, especially simple epithelial tissues. Squamous epithelial cells consists of single layered flattened cells which are closely fit together and appear to be like a stone cells. And these cells generally they form a smooth membrane on the organs in which they line. This thin and smooth membranes give the epithelial tissues an increased absorptive capacity. This formation of thin and very smooth surfaces makes diffusion across these tissues very easy. And this simple epithelial tissue, it lines various regions or organs in the body such as heart, blood vessels, lymph vessels, alveoli of lungs, and collecting ducts of nephron. In the heart, this simple epithelium, it is called as endocardium, whereas in the blood vessels and lymph vessels, it is called as endothelium.
We've had an introductory look at the epithelial tissues in short. Now let's move ahead to know the types of these epithelial tissues in detail. Beginning with the first one, which is the simplest of all, the simple squamous epithelium. In this type, we find flat cells lying upon the basement membrane. These being extremely flat or tile-like are also known as pavement epithelium. Their flat nature itself states their function and locations. Such type is mainly used to transport or precisely diffuse substances across membranes and also perform filtration. Thus, where do you think we will find them? Well, think of the thinnest surfaces in our body, yes. The lining of blood capillaries, in the lining of alveoli, and also in the inner lining of mouth. Well, when we talk about epithelial tissue, how can we forget the skin? But wait a second, how can we afford to have such a delicate layer on the surface that covers the entire body? Well, it's simple.
Squamous type of epithelium is found in the lining of lungs and our skin. But even though they both are similar tissues, both of them have square-like cells. But looking carefully at this image, you can tell the difference. Yes, the skin has many layers of squamous cells as compared to the lining of the lungs. Can you guess why skin has multiple layers? That is because the skin is protective in function and hence needs many layers. Whereas the lining of the lungs have only a single layer of cells. That is because during respiration, as we take in oxygen, the oxygen first enters our lungs and from there it has to be transported to our blood. So for this transfer, it is better to have only one single layer of cells, right? So here we've seen two types of squamous epithelium. Simple squamous in the lungs and stratified squamous in the form of our skin.
Now let's see the other type of simple epithelial tissue, that is cuboidal epithelial tissue. These cells are cube shaped and they are also closely arranged in a single layer on a basement membrane, and these are mostly found in those regions such as tubules of nephron and glands, and these cuboidal epithelial tissues are present in those regions where there is a need for secretion, absorption, or in sometimes excretion.
These cuboidal cells are found lining the kidney tubules, in the thyroid, and also in the ducts of the salivary glands. Lastly, we also find certain specialized modifications in these cuboidal cells. They attain the capacity to secrete important substances in the body. These are simply formed by inward folds in the cuboidal cells. The cells are called as gland cells and the tissue is called as glandular epithelium. So where will we find them? Yes, those parts involved in secretions like the salivary glands, mucus glands, glands secreting earwax, mammary glands, and also the glands producing digestive enzymes.
Moving to the type of epithelial tissue that has cells shaped like an ice cube. Yes, the cuboidal epithelium is present in our kidneys and it also lines the ducts of a few glands like the tear gland, salivary gland and sweat gland. The lining of our kidney has just one layer of cells in this tissue. If you're wondering why just one layer, it is because it helps in absorption of waste materials from our blood to excrete them out of our body. So this simple cuboidal epithelium filters our blood for toxic substances. And the ducts or tubes of our sweat glands and salivary glands generally have two layers, as they have to protect the duct from damage so that they function properly. So the stratified cuboidal epithelium is generally made up of two layers of cells only.
The third type of epithelial tissue is columnar epithelium. So here the cells have a characteristic column-shaped nature and they also have certain adaptations on their surface based upon the region in which they are distributed in. For example, the lining of the stomach has no surface structures on the columnar epithelial cells, whereas those columnar epithelial cells which line the small intestine, they have projections called as microvilli, which increase the area of absorption. Whereas columnar epithelial cells in the trachea, they have cilia and goblet cells which secrete mucus, and the cilia will move in one direction. So the dust particles which are entering into the respiratory tract through inhalation are trapped by this mucus, and the cilia will move these trapped dust particles towards the throat for elimination. The columnar epithelial cells lining the uterine tubes will facilitate the movement of ova towards the uterus.
These are referred to as columnar epithelium due to the column-like appearance that they have. Now you may wonder, why do we need such tall cells for covering a surface? Well, such tall cells help to carry out absorption or secretion to a good extent. Thus, according to this function, the best example to locate this type of epithelium is in the inner lining of intestine. Well, sometimes a slight modification is also observed in this type. We find tiny hair-like projections called cilia on the surface of these cells. Now you may wonder, why do these cells need hair? Well, the basic purpose is to move the immovable. Yes, whenever you have certain non-motile substances or cells, then these cilia carry out rhythmic movements that help to move these substances. Thus, this type, that is the ciliated columnar epithelium, is found to cover the lining of the respiratory tract. Here, it helps to throw out the foreign particles trapped in mucus which enter the respiratory tract. Another location is in the fallopian tubes of the female reproductive system, where the cilia help to propel the ovum in the forward direction. Now, these columnar cells are definitely doing their job well, but at times, some substances aggressively pass through small channels which are lined by these epithelial cells. So then, along with absorption and secretion, we need support too.
Tissue which has rectangular cells, or also called as columnar epithelium. So columnar epithelium lines the organs of our digestive system like the stomach, small intestine and large intestine. So like you can see here, the insides of our digestive system have simple columnar epithelium. But the question is that, are these column-like cells also present in multiple layers? Is there something like a stratified columnar tissue? The answer is no. The second type of tissue made by columnar cells is an extremely thick layer of cells, but just one layer. This layer is so thick that it looks like there are multiple layers. But like you can see, it's just one layer. So then it's named as pseudo-stratified columnar tissue. Pseudo here means false, as it looks false. So in this way, we've seen all the types of epithelial tissue and their location and function in our body. Cuboidal and columnar epithelial cells have hair-like filaments on top of each cell. This hair-like filaments is called cilia. But note that not all cells in this cuboidal and columnar tissue have cilia on them. Just a few places in our body where movement of particles is required. Like for example, the food pipe in our body has ciliated columnar epithelium, as it has to help in pushing the food downwards into the stomach.
Now, let's see about the other type of epithelial tissue. We have seen simple epithelial tissue, and its characteristic nature is it consists of single layer of cells on a basement membrane, whereas stratified epithelial tissue consists of several layers of cells and they lack the basement membrane. And another characteristic feature of stratified epithelial tissue is that the basal layers are more active and they continuously divide to produce new cells. And these are continuously dividing and push the cells upwards to the surface. As they move upwards, these cells become thin or flattened. And once again, stratified epithelial tissues are of two different types. They are stratified squamous epithelium and transitional epithelium. Now let's see them in detail. Stratified squamous epithelium, it is generally seen in those areas which protects the dry surfaces. Stratified squamous epithelium consists of several layers of the cells, and those cells which are at the bottom, they are active and they continuously divide, and these old cells, they move upwards to the surface, and as they move upwards nearer to the surface, they are shed away. There are two types of stratified squamous epithelium. They are keratinized stratified epithelium and non-keratinized stratified epithelium. Keratinized stratified epithelium is seen in those areas which are dry and are subjected to wear and tear, whereas non-keratinized stratified epithelium is found in those areas which are moist and are exposed to wear and tear. The surface layers of stratified squamous epithelium consists of flattened cells which are usually dead and which lost their nucleus. Apart from this, these cells are having a protein called as keratin, and hence these are called as keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Examples of this tissue is skin, hair and nails. The superficial layers are continuously shed away so that those cells which are pushed from the basal areas, they move upwards. The keratin present in the cells forms a tough and protective waterproof layer and prevents the drying of the cells which lie underneath. The non-keratinized stratified epithelium is found in those regions which are moist. Example, they line the mouth, pharynx, esophagus and vagina, the conjunctiva of eye.
The same squamous epithelium comes in the form of layers. So several layers, one above the other, form the outermost layer of skin, which we refer to as the stratified squamous epithelium. Because of multiple layers, the stratified squamous epithelium prevents wear and tear of the upper surface of the skin.
Stratified squamous epithelium that we said makes up our skin has a protein named keratin, and it is because of this protein in those cells that makes our skin waterproof. And it's also sometimes called keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. It's a big name, right? But try to remember the function of it. So till now we've been discussing this tissue based on the shape of the cell, right?
The other type of stratified epithelial tissue is transitional epithelium. In stratified squamous epithelium, we have seen that there are several layers of cells, whereas those cells which are at the bottom are columnar and those cells which are at the surface are flat. Whereas in the transitional epithelium, all the cells are of equal size and they are pear-shaped in appearance. These lines several parts of urinary tract and also the urinary bladder, and this allows stretching of the tissues whenever there is a need for extension, such as stretching of urinary bladder when it is filled with urine.
This tissue can change the shape of its cell according to the stress it has been exposed to. And here when I say stress, it's the amount of fluid present in the organ. More the fluid, more the stress. So which organ you think can hold a lot of fluid in it? Yes, it's the urinary bladder. This organ is made up of transitional epithelium. Transitional epithelium can change the shape of its cells from round to flat as the bladder expands while holding a lot of water in it. Isn't it amazing how our body functions? You should go ahead and read more such amazing facts about our body. Okay, so we're coming to an end of this session.
And this is about epithelial tissues. So epithelial tissues can be classified into two types: simple epithelium and stratified epithelium. There are once again three different types of simple epithelium. They are squamous epithelial tissues, cuboidal epithelial tissues and columnar epithelial tissues. Whereas there are two types of stratified epithelial tissues. They are stratified squamous epithelial tissue and transitional epithelium. And there are once again two types of stratified squamous epithelial tissues. They are keratinized stratified epithelial tissue and non-keratinized stratified epithelial tissue.